Give it a minute.
Selected. Screen rec.
Okay, I think we're good.
FaceTime. 7
Hey
missed
everyone.
FaceTime calls. Double tap to
I
open.
do apologize for the crappy audio. I was trying to do a regular video file, but my freaking phone wanted to run. I decided to run out of storage, so I figured I'd try a screen recording instead, even though I can't use my phone microphone because it is busted. So I'm having to use these headphones here. Um, I want to talk about a few things and kind of get you guys' feedback on some things. So, first of all, if you notice my voice might be a little bit different. I have a runny nose. My nose is stuffy, and my poor mom is sick as a dog, so she's not feeling well. I've been with a runny nose like for the past what 2 or 3 days, and this week was a freaking it was a slow week, and you know, um, it was just, you know, we got snowed in Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday I started getting stuffy and all kinds of crap. Or no, I think it was Tuesday night I got stuffy, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I was home, and today I was Thursday, blah, Wednesday, yesterday, and today I've been home trying to recover. Because I usually do it. I may have mentioned before, but I do what's called a post high school transition program. It's like it's in a few states I think where after high school they teach you like in life skills and whatnot, and like they focus on things to help you be more successful in the adult world. To be honest, it hasn't been easy, and it hasn't been not much progress to be honest. But that's a whole another that's a topic for another day. We're not going to get into all that today. But I wanted to run an idea by you and see what you guys think. You can either comment or be sure you can comment down below and see what you let me know what you guys think. Um, I have thought of doing a improv series on YouTube of all of my characters like that I've crafted. Some are based on people or other characters. Most of them are my own. Um, but I realize now, even at 20, even though I'm 21, I realize now that when you're, no company, nobody, no one person is just gonna hand you anything without you putting yourself out there first. Don't wait for permission. Do what you know you're good at now, because if you wait for permission, how you gonna get it if you don't put yourself? You know what I mean? Like me, for example, I've been doing voices since I was a kid. Like even when I was a kid, I used to walk around grocery stores and just like do freaking weird, crazy voices that no 6 or 7 year old should be able to do. But even at that young age, I could do like a deep guttural voice that sounded every bit demonic as it is gonna get. But no, it was just me playing around. But still, like my mom thought it sounded like a bit demonic, which makes sense. But anyway, um, you know, again, like even as a kid, I used to imitate voices and try to imitate famous people. Even like my mom, I tried to imitate when I was a kid, I think. But at least I would imitate like people that I knew about at the time, and even now I sometimes imitate famous people, but not as much as I do my own characters or like character impressions of movie characters, but that's about it. Um, anyway, so I thought of doing that, and I was wondering what you guys would think. I was wondering what you guys think of me doing like a kind of an improv show of like my characters getting into weird stuff, you know? Because I've tried to write scripts for these for this show like numerous times, and I always seem to like everything changes so fast in my head that it's hard to keep up. So I figured if I could just do like a show where it's like kind of like putting what's going on in my head down on recording files, that'd be interesting, I think, for people to listen to. Because, you know, I'm one guy. I'm not 50 other writers that have written like famous TV shows or whatever that can conjure up, a whole season in like no, I'm one guy. I'm a one man band, as someone I know would say. So, and not to mention, I have other things to do. I'm still doing my program once I go back, hopefully next week. Um, but, I have things that, I can't just write everything in one day. That would just be too much. So, and I've always been worried about who's gonna play this person, who's gonna play. No, if I can do a decent enough voice, for whoever I'm trying to play, why can't I play it? Like, I don't care if I'm blind or not. Like, why can't I provide the vocals and maybe even the stunt perform, whatever. If you're doing like a TV show or whatever. But, you know what I mean? Like, that, that right there is like, it's just, it just seems more natural to me to do it like improv style and kind of let things flow as normal, instead of trying to create all these plot twists and like whatever and trying to write all this stuff down and get all stressed. No, like, you know. So that's what I think I should be doing is like at least starting a kind of a show where my characters get to kind of live on the audio, like on the tape. They get to live on the uh recordings, if you will, because it's been my hobby for many years to just role play and create characters and imagine these scenarios that you probably would never get in real life anymore. Um, but um, and what was I talking about before my video cut off? Oh, I know what I was. Oh, back to what I was saying earlier. You know, people might say, "Oh, what if people bash me?" People are going to bash. There's always going to be those jerks on the internet who don't know how to, who bash everything and because it doesn't agree with their agenda. You know, you just gotta ignore those people. You know, I can tell you when I first started like social media and like YouTube itself, the amount of backlash I got on voice calls was like it almost drove me over the edge. It kind of did drive me over the edge at one point. But I got so much backlash literally on call, like on a site. I won't name it, but um this is true, by the way. I got so much backlash because, you know, they didn't know me, they didn't know me, they didn't know what my intentions were, they didn't know, they didn't care to know me, And it led me to a really bad mental health year for like 2 years in a row, I think, where it started in 2021 when I had a lot of things going on in my head. Like I would hear things. I would pretty like vividly hear things in my head that I knew wasn't real, but it was still enough to make me go "Ugh," like that. That's not right, you know. That's not normal. So then 2022 rolls around, and it might even be worse because I could not maintain a 5 day school week. It was horrible. And one of the things that really affected me was someone that had uh, basically turned my situation into a laughing game because they were just like, oh, like you're saying you have this. What's up with that? You know? So excuse me. It's just life. You know, life is hard sometimes, and it sucks. Believe me, I felt down many days over the past several years. I felt like giving up. I felt like I'm like, no, you got you got to fight for what you believe in. You know, the amount of times I've gotten told off and like ridiculed and bashed, backlashed, it adds up. But you know what your worth is, and if you don't, you gotta find what you gotta find your worth. You know what I mean? Like you gotta find it. And one of the things that I'll say is, for me, having a support system means so much. Even if it's like through one person or a few people at my program, at a program I go to, like during the week. Having a support system really means a lot to people. Not just me, but to everybody who's been through hardships and, all kinds of horrible things. You know what I mean? So I I just think that if more people had support systems, then it would be a much better place for everybody, you know? And um one of the ways I cope is through characters. So like, like I said earlier, that's why I said I want to make a show where my characters get to speak to the camera, or at least to a uh, a recording of just saying, the most funny, some funny stuff, silly stuff. And so that's why I was pitching to you guys and seeing what you guys think. Um, so
Screen recording in progress. 5:48 p.m. Cell C mod in 5 Bluetooth 78%. Status bar item. Home doc messages 5002
hang on, I'm checking my
messages
messages.
edit plus may out dictate hair +1 selected messages today 10:18 a.m. 5002 5000 converse doc messages 5293
But
unread messages.
like anyway,
Double tap to open.
as I'm recording this, I'm thinking, like uh, I don't know, just like whatever's on my mind, like whatever. But Excuse me. So you're probably asking me when I mention my character stuff, what kind of what kind of character stuff, like what kind of things do you role play? So, um, I haven't talked about it much on here because I was so worried about trying to find voice talent for this, but I'm just like nah. So more often than not, I'm role playing or I'm coming up with scenarios where they're like, oh, um, single mom raising two kiddos. One's a teenager, one's a 9-year old, and they, they, the teenagers kind of burned out from middle school or going into high school, and the younger kid's kind of still got a teddy bear in his arm, and they got fuzzy slippers on, and they're going to summer school, or like one that I've had for years where teenager fails, uh, you know, freshman or sophomore year, 2020, and they have to do virtual summer school all summer, and the younger sibling gets to lounge around in his jammies and slippers and just be a kid, just just funny off the cuff stuff like that. Which it sounds stupid and boring as heck, but it's fun. It's fun for me because you know I I just I I like that kind of stuff. I don't I don't I don't come up with a lot of horror stuff or any horror or thriller stuff because why? Because there's just too much of it. I feel like it's an overrated genre now. Back in like the 70s and 80s, you didn't see too much. It was an underrated. Now it's overrated, Like you see that's all you see is like horror, thriller, sci like come on, you know? You know. I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't I'll admit I watch it all the time, but I don't, I don't come up with it because I just don't see a point, there's too much of it. I want to create my own kind of recipe for storytelling. So that's what I strive to do with these little random stories I come up with. So that's the bottom line of that. So that's just that. Sorry, it's getting quiet over here. Um, Sorry, I was getting lost in my thoughts. I was kind of daydreaming already. How ridiculous is that? Daydreaming while recording a vlog? Well, I guess a audio for my channel. Oh well. But I think um, I'm wearing slippers with holes in them, guys. They're Chucky actually, and I've had these for about 2 years now. Over 2 years now? And yeah, they do need to get replaced. But we're trying to find some for Christmas, but I guess there wasn't a good enough like kind, I guess. Where did that? Where did I put my? I had my. Hang on, guys. I'm looking for something. Oh, you know what? It must have fell. Nope. Aha! There it is. Sorry, I'm looking for my deodorant spray. Oh, I think I got it in my shirt. Oops. The other side now. If you were to say to me that blind people cannot put deodorant on themselves, I'd say that is complete BS. Because I just showed you guys that I can do it. So what I usually do is, I think most blind people can agree to this too, is when you look for like where the spray comes out, where the little slot is, you this window I can't open it because there's too much stuff in the way. Forget it. I can't air out the room because there's too much stuff in the way, and my hands are not very strong right now. Um. Anyway. Um. um. What was I saying? How long has this thing been recording? I don't even know. I figured I'd record until at least after I eat dinner, I guess, because I so if this becomes another 2 hour vlog like the Christmas one from like 3 years ago, I do apologize. Um, or about 2 years ago, I should say. Um, but oh, actually, when I was in 2019, I went to DC with my eighth grade class. It was fun. It was a lot. The walking part really annoyed me because I wasn't used to walking that far, like in like exploring places. But when I got to hear a ventriloquist. I got to hear a play. I got to do like a mock TV broadcast in the TV room. I got to let's see, what was the other thing I did that I liked? Uh, There was another thing. I can't remember what it was.
5,294 unread messages. 5,000
Is that my text?
messages. Cute. Harry. May hours third. Plus dictate. +1. Select messages. Today 6:01 +1 860 371 4981. Go and eat. 6 5,200
Okay.
5,000
I'm taking you guys with me.
conversations. Doc messages.
Okay.
5,293 unread
Well, come join
messages.
me.
Double tap to open.
Why didn't it go? Why didn't it do the thing? Oh well. At least I saw it. Yeah, she's sick as a dog. Let's see. Hmm. So looks like we have one of these. What do you call them? Like little uh pizza things. They're like pizza bites or what? No, they're like they're frozen pizzas you can heat up in the microwave. I'm eating a banana right now. Sorry, I'm quiet, guys. I'm chewing and eating, so sorry about that. So I had the banana. I just finished the pizza. And I got these little muffin things there. I guess they call them little Debbie's, like little Debbie cake things, or like little muffin sized little muffin things. Yeah. But yeah, I
Edit
went to
mode.
the oops.
Control center. Selected.
There we go.
FaceTime. 7 missed FaceTime calls.
Well, yeah, I went to DC.
Double tap to open.
I saw well, I heard of ventriloquist. I heard a play, did a mock TV thing, and I can't remember the other thing that I liked so much. It was, I'm trying to rack my brain what it was. I don't have a napkin. Oops. Excuse me. Man, what the heck was that fourth thing? I can't remember what it was now. Now I'm drawing a huge blank, guys. This is gonna eat me alive. Someone help me. Oh man, I can't remember what it was now. I could not, for the love of all things heavenly, remember what that fourth thing was, but I know I liked it. I just couldn't remember what it was. I was thinking it was already in the fourth thing. Man, I cannot remember what the frick it was. Man, I know one of them was, I heard of a ventriloquist, I'm pretty sure, like somebody with a puppet. Then I'm trying to remember. Okay, I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. No, Tuesday. The first day I got to do a TV broadcast. Then I'm pretty sure it was
FaceTime. Edit. Button. FaceTime.
the
7 missed
second day
FaceTime calls.
I heard
Double
I
tap to
heard
open.
the guy with the puppet. Then I went to a play, and what was the frickin'? Oh my my god, this is gonna keep me up tonight, guys. I'm trying to figure out what it was. I cannot remember the fourth thing. What the frick was it? Oh my gosh, this is gonna keep me up tonight, guys. I hope it doesn't, but it might keep me up tonight. I'm trying to think of what it was. I don't have it recorded, so I can't go back in the archives and look. Man, I can't. I think it has something to do with a TV or something of that nature. I mentioned I did the TV thing the first day, and then guys, I don't know. It's been so long since I went on that trip that I am drawing a huge blank at the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys what I did there. Was it a movie? No, what was it? I don't know what it was. I can't remember, guys. Sorry, I'm being stupid. Um. Anyway. Anyway, I can't remember. I will come back when I remember what it was.
Screen recording in
I'm
progress.
not gonna be
Control
here all
center.
night trying to
Airplane
figure it
mode.
out.
Switch
I'm gonna be
selected.
up
Camera
around 9.
selected. Screen
But
recording button. Speech off.
I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll be back hopefully soon. Hasta la vista, baby. Peace out.